Um, yeah, I was just thinking because I'm looking over my fragrances. People are decluttering. People are, selling some. People have them and they kind of really just forget about them. And although not every single one of these fragrances are going to be Jim, great to see you. Hope you're good. Hope you're well. Thank you for stopping by. Uh the fragrances that I'm going to be discussing today, yes, they are forgotten in a way. I've been around for a long time. I've seen a lot of fragrances. I've smelled a lot of fragrances. And I could only fathom like how many other people with larger collections like tend to have these fragrances get overlooked, especially if you've been around as long as somebody like Jim and I and Joey Canoli. Uh Caboose, work in the morning. Yo, great to see you. Um, you know, it's just a question of just like, some of these FragComm darling fragrances or FragComm like household names that used to really be in the community. Chris, great to see you. Um, like what happened? Like the fragrance is still good. I mean, I get it if it was discontinued, but like a lot of these fragrances for the most part are still around, or like even the house, right? Like certain houses, you start to wonder like where did they go wrong, or were they just one hit wonders? Yes, definitely. Shouts out Chris the Canadian with Booze, Jim, and Rich in here. I appreciate it. Um, yeah, just like where did the time go and why is it all covered in blue now? Big M, great to see you. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Um, where did time go? I'm not gonna like beat around the bush. I will have see if anybody wants to come on in a little bit. Lewis, great to see you. Awesome channel too. I'm Lewis Fragrances. Make sure you check him out. New channel. The man is funny, entertaining, and everything in between. Clinton, thank you also for stopping by. And Scales, yo, bro, I appreciate you. Hope you're good. Hope you're well. So yeah, I have one, two, three, four, five. Yeah, so I have six total. One of them's an honorable mention as to like what the hell happened, forgotten type of fragrances, if you will, or fragrance houses, or just themes of sorts. And we'll just get into this. The first one, I'm I guess because it is going to be my sense of the day, I might as well cover this. It's a 1 million, not the House of Paco Rabanne, like the actual one, the regular 1 million. What happens? Some could say, "Oh, I kind of outgrew it," or they made better flankers as they went. True, but me personally, I do enjoy the original 1 million. Unfortunately, this isn't the super like vintage formulation. This is a formulation from like 2018 because my vintage bottle, I lost it when I totaled my car in a car accident in 2015, or not even 2013. Yeesh. But yeah. Why do people like just cast the regular 1 million to the side now? Okay, yes, lucky, really good. Privé discontinued and it caused all the pandemonium hype. Now you have Elixir. Wait for my thoughts on that. Okay. But it's like 1 million is still like a solid fragrance. And if you're wearing all the other fragrances, why don't you wear your 1 million? Why? What's the reason? I'm even like looking at it like, man, I mean, it's down to here, which again, since 2018, that's pretty impressive, like the fragrance starts up here and I'm down to there. I've worn a nice amount of it, but at the same time, like, pe- you know, let's not forget that this once garnered a lot of attention. Probably also upset a few people if you oversprayed it, but 1 million was a fragrance worth trying, wearing. It got me compliments and attention. I had great times with 1 million. I'm sure it was great times for a lot of other people. Maybe not necessarily overseas. I know people overseas tend to not like it as much. John, great to see you, bro. Thank you for stopping by. Gorguts, great to see you too, bro. Banana Republic Modern, solid fragrance, definitely solid. CK, thank you. I appreciate you. So yeah, my honorable mention is the regular 1 million. Yes, they have all the other flankers and everyone appreciates them, but show a little bit of love. I've seen so many videos of other reviewers just trying to throw this away. It's like, oh, is 1 million worth it in 2020, 2021, 2022? It's like, yes, yes, it is. You know, um, hi, Yara. Great to see you. Hope you're good. And everyone in England's wearing 1 million and still do. Yeah. And I get that. I get that, America is Sauvage, England is 1 million. But at the same time, everyone's still in America talking about Savage being worth it. And that came out in 2013, no, 2015, 2014, 15. So it's not too far away from the time that 1 million was released, only a couple of years difference, still with the same attention, just in a different region. So appreciate 1 million in my opinion, because you're already wearing all the other flankers. Just wear 1 million. It's still beastly. Hi. Yeah, just catching up with the chat really quick. So there was that. Now into the actual what has happened to them fragrances. Let's get into the mall sense. Everyone, and yes, people really get a lot of Zara fragrances, but nobody gets Body Shop anymore. Nobody gets your Victoria's Secret, very sexy fragrances. And again, okay, well, I've kind of outgrown Abercrombie Fitch. Yeah, that's another one that people tend to wear a lot, but nobody wears. You don't hear anybody really talking about these fragrances in abundance the way you used to in the early 2000, early 2010s. I still want to get my hands on 1 million. Oh, interesting, Gorga. It's something worth checking out. I like Sport Musk from, yes, that is definitely a solid one too. I need to add that. Taffy, I appreciate you for stopping by. Always a pleasure. Thank you. Shout outs to my bro Raf. Always shredding it. Like always, he was on Joey's karaoke night. I am Joey Canoli. Great channel. Check him out. Um, Mutant Night tonight, by the way. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, what happened to More Sense? More Sense actually used to be something a lot of people appreciated. Now these days, everyone wants, the Roja Dove, the $900 bottle fragrances, and everything else in between, whether it's Roja, whether it's, Pure Distance, all of these it's almost like you want to pay more money just to say that you've paid more money, instead of these are solid fragrances. Rich Woman Addictive is probably one of the most best, all-time fragrances for Zara that they've ever released, and I get that. It's a really good fragrance. But Zara isn't the only mall place that makes fragrances. The Body Shop makes some really good fragrances. Arbor, nice, fresh, clean, spicy fragrance. It's not going to last the longest, not going to lie. But there's a lot of people with this, a Body Shop fragrance on their shelf, or, a Victoria's Secret fragrance, even their Hollister SoCals, Express Reserves, the old formula, not the new one, the orange juice I'm talking about. Where your fragrances, like, bring them back into rotation, spend some time with them, appreciate them, because they are really good stuff, and they're actually better than what has been released in the mass market for the last 6 Well, not 6. At least for sure the last 4 years. I'll say definitely the last 4, you know? Um, Yara enjoyed having yes, Yara was great on Joey's, karaoke night too. Appreciated her always. Anytime she's comes on camera, sings. It's just a good time with when the family is together, you know? I agree, Joe. Thank you, Lewis. I appreciate that. At least somebody agrees, so this way I know I don't sound crazy. The sleeve police. I'm under arrest? For what exactly, sleeve police? Let me know. I'm Lewis. It can get difficult. Lovely seeing you too. Yes. Yard does have a voice of an angel. I will completely agree with that, Scales, you know. And I mean, yeah, just more scents, more fragrances. Men and women should enjoy them, appreciate them more if you have them. I'm not saying like now just transition and just buy nothing but more fragrances. But I'm saying these are like awareness cues for those who do have these fragrances, like and just ponder up the question, what the hell is that? Uh Draw up the question of like remember the time when everyone was talking about, you know, the body shop fragrances or even Bath and Body Works, coconut lime verbenas. What happened to those days? Now everybody doesn't get excited unless there's, Swarovski crystals on the bottle or, you've went out and you've paid like $10,000 your mortgage on it, a vest. Then you're coming with me too, Yar. Oh, Hills is also coming for obvious reasons. A, it's a package deal, so I understand sleeve police. Sleeve police. Great question. 3/4 length? Should it be prohibited? Taffy is asking some really, you know, important questions that, are essential to sleeve police, and whatever procedures they're trying to come up with. Love spell, the scent of my bedroom in high school. That was a classic fragrance for sure, CK. Um, that was good. Mine was a Lacoste Homme, but for some reason I gravitate towards releases before 2016 when fragrances were not based off of social media. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of people now make this the blue stuff or the Loccatan, Odibo, and Cade, I believe was the other one, but everyone raved about Odibo because it was tobacco vanille and tobacco vanille was the darling, but nobody wanted to pay for it. Yes, completely agree, Jim. Completely, absolutely agree. Hi, Tara. Great to see you. You sound like a high school dress code sleeve police. Yes, sleeve police definitely does. Also, shouts out to Tara. Check her channel out. I mean, a lot of you have probably seen her, especially after the collaboration we did earlier this week. Olfactophiles, everyone. But it's always a pleasure to have her here. Thank you. And she was amazing as a co-host. So I do have to say 69 hand claps for that. Uh oh, better cold shouldered look for everyone. Right, right, right. CK, I wasn't wearing it, Joe. Well, no, I know. I'm just saying that it was, a very potent one. For me, mine what I'm trying to remember what was it that the girls wore? I do not remember actually what they wore at all. I think there was like a Prada at one point, but it there was something. There was something, and I have to get back to you because I'm even getting my years mixed up. But man, Love Spell I do remember though. One of them did wear Love Spell. Tara knows because her students always wear sleeves. 69 for Tara. Exactly. Always, Raf. Completely agree. Girl, you say. Armani Code, Allure Sport, Dior Homme over Savage, Invictus, and Office for Men. I completely agree with Lewis. Yeah, anything, and Lewis just kind of said it. Anything 2016 and prior just seems to be better mass marketed fragrances. Captain Kirk 69 is our the cannoli mafia's, I guess, code or creed or motto. Um, it's how we identify. It's how we kind of like show that we're here. Like certain fraternities, they go like ooh rah, and sororities do their thing, and whatever calls or whatever. It's just a way to show, you know, togetherness. 69 baby. Shouts out to the babies and Adam Cole and Chris Jericho. Rudy, the PhD of EDP. Great to see you. So the SP is a sign. So the SP is a call sign now. Kind of sort of. It's a little bit of everything, but yeah, it's a way to identify yourself if you're in the chat. It's a way to show respect if Joey Cannoli shows up or if you're on Joey Cannoli's stream. It's just a way that, like, whenever you see fellow family members, you say 69. It's almost like, hi, how are you? You know, would you like a drink? Stuff like that. But to the next one, because that one kind of went up a little bit longer. Also, speaking of people going up, iSmell's channel is constantly growing. Great to see Mike here. I appreciate you for stopping by. Um, pleasure, Mike. Great to see you, The next fragrance that we are going to talk about is Hermes, because they really started doing a lot of great stuff in the mid 2000s and they haven't really done too much, especially since they came out with H24. Eesh. Here's one of my bottles of Hermes. Not that I have that many because they're kind of overpriced or like rather expensive for the price. I'd rather get other things for the price of the Hermes, but I really enjoyed this Eau de Mandarin Ombre, even though it is a Eau de Cologne. Um, this fragrance does actually kind of do well for Eau de Cologne, all things considering. I get like 4 to 5 hours during the summertime with it, and it's a really good amber mandarin fragrance. Clean, kinda, sorta, but really just amber mandarin. It is in the name. That's what you're gonna smell like. But they had the Eau Jardin line that everyone loved so much. I remember Sur le Nil, Sur le Toit. Everyone was just enjoying the Hermes vibe. They had the Hermesences. Try saying that a few times. Hey Fernando, great to see you. I like Rock Bar. Yes, Rock Bar. Outrace Face. I enjoy a little bit more than Terre de Hermes. I'm not the biggest fan of Terre de Hermes. I know. Go ahead and unsub from me now. But I respect it. There's a difference. It's not. I just know it doesn't work with my skin. Okay, it's a little too dirty and a little too much vetiver for me. But not that I, you know, absolutely despise the fragrance. I'm just never going to wear it. It is not for me. Bellamy and Bellamy vetiver. Another two good ones. Bellamy also, if you are looking for a cheaper version of Pure Distance M or like more for the milliliters, go with Bellamy. Uh I agree. Used to visit the local Hermes store every few months. Then they kind of shit the bed and don't release anything new or appealing anymore. See, Jim completely agrees with me. And like I said, Jim and I kind of came around the same FRAGCOMM time. So that's just like, what the hell happened to Hermes? I mean, I know, you know, God, I'm blanking on his name right now. The perfumer, Rudy, help me please. John Claude Elena. John Claude Elena, he stepped down, and I believe his daughter's taking over the house now. And not that his daughter's doing a bad job, but H24 was not something I would have necessarily went out the gate swinging with, especially if you're trying to carry on the legacy. Hermes is great because they don't use amber woods. That is true. It's still good quality fragrances. It's just not, ideal for me. And it was great to see I Smell. I do not like H24 scales. It's too boring, too generic, a little bit too clean even. And I don't like Terre d'Hermes when I smelled it in 2017. See, I like vetivers, like I like Dior vetiver, which is a privé that I need to find a way to get from overseas. But I what you call it? I just something about that dirtiness and orange. You have Pure Distance M. Yes, that's a great fragrance. It was the first fragrance I ever covered when I first started the channel. A good friend is a big fan of Eau de Hermes. So I picked up a bottle last year. It's a great OG without being too OG. Yes, exactly. I agree. I have Eau Fresh. I'm still in the process trying to decide if I go for the Parfum or Intense Vetiver. I've heard a lot of people praise Intense Vetiver, so I will have to, say that if you're gonna pick one, then maybe, you know, people tend to praise that one, but a few people do enjoy the Parfum too. And shouts out to Fernando and Jim, absolutely. But yeah, what the hell happened to Hermes? They came out with stuff like this. They came out with the Jardin Garden collection. Um, Even their Hermeses were like pretty solid, even though I only liked Ambre Nangile and Vetiver Tonka, and that was about it for me, like my personal ones that I would have owned. Few others were not bad, but in my opinion, still for those prices, they were borderline like Louis Vuitton. In my opinion, where it's like it's good, but it doesn't last enough. It doesn't perform enough for what you're getting, like the prices that you're paying. And so it just, but so many people talked about Hermes. I mean, you had, who- I mean, you definitely had me there. You had back in the day Maximilian Husler, who Max must know. There was Greggy Boy. Shouts out to Greggy Boy over in the UK. Um, there was trying to think Drakdoc, Cody, think Frunkinator talked about it. And I understand that a lot of these fragrances also kind of dissipate with the hype, right? Or not the hype, but like if the people who really enjoyed this disappear, then of course, like, whatever went is going to fade also. But the fragrances are still here for the most part, and they are really good fragrances. So why is it that nobody wants to talk about it anymore? Is it because it was not a new release, and it's something from back in the day? I think, a lot of these fragrances aren't really talked about still. Like my review on this is like still one of the only ones. Dua went ahead and made a copy of this, and thank you, because it drew a lot of you know traffic to my video just because nobody even knew about this because very few people covered it. And it's just wondering, like, where why not? Why not cover the Hermes line? Now, not H24. A lot of people covered H24, and H24 was a shit show. But why not cover, more? I know I did see Cody's new video. Unfortunate that he lost most of his high-end collection, but I am glad to see Cody back. Cody and I actually were friends. And not that we aren't now, it's just he live. He has a family, his own life, and I'm doing my thing. And also too, what you call it? Him and I used to do have a fantasy football league, so that's really where. Great to see HB. I appreciate you. I like the way Terre de Hermes smells, but I don't want to smell like it all day. It's stuff like that that I'm saying, and it does perform very strong on me. I'm just yeah, the moving companies. Shouts out to moving companies for like screwing people over like they did me. Still waiting for all of my clothes actually to come in. Never mind my fragrances. And I actually think I'm missing some fragrances still too. So there's that. But I'm actually missing a good 75% of my wardrobe still to this day. Um, Talking about polo dress shirt, like actual Ralph Lauren dress shirts and Ralph Lauren polos and extra jeans and everything, the whole nine, just regular dress shirts. Everything is just gone. Yeah, I'm not. Adidas track pants too. I know Joey would appreciate that. Him and I could do like an Adidas off a little bit more often if, the movers didn't just take my stuff. But maybe one day I'll get it back. Maybe. Dry Down, Low Down, awesome channel also. Shouts out to Joe. I'm looking to get him on here in a little bit now that I could breathe again and I could see clearly now. The cold is gone. So hopefully, sometime next week or the following week, I could definitely get him on. So this way we could cover some of those happy lands because he sent me over 6 and I'd love to at least cover 3 for sure for him. Get his on average thoughts. Um, Finally reinvesting Serge Lutens. That's another brand, although it's kind of picked up steam a little bit lately because I know Ashley in Paris has been talking about them a lot lately. Picked up a few bottles years ago, but the bench wasn't too deep. My opinion, stopped sniffing. They do have some decent releases. I think the problem with Serge Lutens is they have so many releases. And then it's like, well, where do I start? Where do I begin? And I'm still mad that they discontinued Chennai. I wish they'd still kept Chennai. I wish they would have kept that because I was gonna get that, and then they discontinued it as I was. Some same for Paris Monte Carlo. Yes, exactly. Um. So yeah, there's that, and then one, two, another house as a whole that has just kind of gone under the radar or just off the grid is Comptoir Sud Pacifique. This one is one of their best fragrances, and I think this one in particular is discontinued. This is Mage D Orient. This really nice stuff. Really good summer fragrance. Aluminum bottle. I know a lot of people don't like aluminum bottles because they dent or they feel cheap in a way. This is a really, really good fragrance. But they've made many other good offerings, banana, vanilla, I forgot what they called it, the exact name, but it was a banana vanilla fragrance, the cocoa, figs, and Melissa, Ron, and Melissa. Thank you for stopping by, Melissa. Melissa did a live last week with Rose. She did an amazing job on it. Check out her channel, please and thank you, if you haven't yet. Although I know a lot of people in the chat have. But Melissa Villanueva in the building, and I appreciate it. I have the answer to why people are not reviewing all these all-time designers. They're not free. Exactly. I mean, nothing in life is free. But at the same time, come on, like do your DD. Like it's almost like I you're basically, only passing the test because you got the answers. Like put in just a little bit of extra work because at this point now the thing is with the influx of content creators, and I'm going to take Ron off really quick so I have my moment. The issue is that here is how you make great content to build an audience. I'm going to let you know. Number one, you actually have to care. Number two, you have to not do everything that everyone else is doing. So this way you don't look like everyone else. You have to be an average. In this way, then you can get those free bottles, but you have to go ahead and still put yourself out there and expose yourself to other things. Also, with so many different clone houses and so many different things, it would behoove you or anyone really to, try the originals, the origins. You don't, I mean, I do go to movies and see like the sequels most of the time before I see the, number one. I saw Hangover 2 before I saw Hangover. I saw Twilight, the final Twilight before really watching any Twilights except for the first Twilight. I saw the first Twilight with my then fiance, and then I never watched one again until the final part of the final Twilight. I'll admit that. Eric, great to see you. I appreciate you for stopping by. So yeah, I would say Sue blah 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 blah. Yeah. I can't pronounce the, the name. Lots of practice, Jim. I've learned lots of practice. Lombowski, great to see you. Hope you're good. Hope you're well. Also, Catherine, Guerlain Essence Mythique. Started with Guerlain Cherry Blossom, but it had no balls. And that's unfortunate because the fragrance should always have the balls. But Catherine, I appreciate you for stopping by. Means a lot. They don't want it. They are hoarders. Well said, Raf. So yeah, Comptoir Sud Pacifique, another like non-expensive, uh, overall good quality fragrance house that made some really good fragrances that you really should just check out. You should take the time. It's sitting in, and even going back to Raf's thing, it's not free yet, but there's still a lot of YouTubers now who have these bottles in their collection and just don't review them. Like why not? Why not cover, something like this? I covered this and I covered it with Chad. Shouts out to Chad. But it's like, you know, only so many people have talked about it and it deserves more attention. Comptoir Sud Pacifique. And I know they have a lot more releases. I'm actually surprised at the amount of releases that they have. But at the end of the day, a lot of the fragrances are like what they say they are. It is what it is. So if you want a fragrance that's like chocolate banana, then it's going to smell like chocolate banana. It's there on the name. If it's not going to be hard to figure out. Uh Joe, are we feeling fat and curious today? Says Dylan Tim. Don't know about fat. Probably not fat. I mean, I'm down to 130 pounds and like all things considering I haven't been able to work out in the last month and a half, 2 months from my shoulder surgery. It is what it is. Citrine Boat, great to see you. Zahar found me. The jig is up. That's letting you know that Citrine is coming on the way. Shouts out to George Zahar. And I'll be having my bottle soon, so you'll be able to get my unaverage thoughts because I went ahead and made sure I bought that and pre-ordered it way before. Well, not way before the boat, but when it first dropped and it was first coming out. Shouts out to who is Chris saying really quick? High caffeine coffee, always important. It's a staple of my life. Damn late two night damn late nights, 2 hours until a 3-day week. Chris, you can make it. I'm here for you. We got this. Chat's rolling. Hello, everybody. I missed. Chat is rolling, and I appreciate everyone for being here, spending some time. Uh, what happened to the shoulder? I had some rotator cuff and also arthritis and bursitis that happened in my shoulder. And so because of it, it had to also like pull my shoulder down and out of place. And so from that, it ended up being that it I had no strength. I couldn't lift it. I couldn't even raise it. Like if we were talking about raising arms then, it would be like this and this, but now I could do this again. So, um, it's the first time in almost 2 years that I've been able to raise my arm. I initially injured it the very, very first time, uh, doing a photo shoot for a protein company that I was sponsored by, doing pull-ups, and they had me doing it for an extended period of time. I was, like, holding on for, like, 3 to 4 minutes while they were recording me, and then after that, uh I was sore, it was a grade 2 separation, and then in 2020, moving the boxes because I moved here, I ended up, uh, separating it because the box was really heavy and just the torque of it. Haven't been 130 since 6th grade. You listen, you aren't fat, nobody's fat, but shouts out to Full House today. Definitely, I'm grateful for it. I appreciate it. What was my sport? So RXL, it was mainly weightlifting, but I did like play basketball with the gym. The gym was Lifetime. Um, so I would play basketball with Lifetime, and I was getting into boxing. I was using basketball as the cardio of sorts, aside from being on the ellipticals. But I was getting into boxing, and I was learning. Not necessarily that I want to become a professional boxer. No, first of all, I'm 32. Even then, I was 30. Kind of sort of past my prime. I know some boxers start later, but it was just something for me to pick up and like really reach my peak potential of fitness, and also, you know, properly learn how to fight, how to self defense, how to exist. I lost 15 pounds the last couple of weeks. John, strong, lean, mean, fragrance machine over here. So we have two more things that I want to cover. Comptoir Sud Pacifique kind of segues into this one, which is niche houses as a whole. Whatever happened to Aqua de Parma, they've released some fragrances. Nobody talks about them anymore. This is arguably one of their best fragrances. Colonia Intensa Oud, you know, Mandolo di Sicilia from the Blue line. Really good stuff. Old Italian heritage. Really should just people should appreciate these. I'm surprised how many people actually haven't tried uh Colonia Intensa Oud, let alone own it or rave about it. Same here. Gained COVID-19. Taffy, stop. Well done, John. Yes, well done, John. Trying to get back into shape. I gain weight all school year, then lose it in the summer. That's kind of how I am too, Tara. Um, Springtime, really, like around this time, which sucks because right now I'm recovering. I can't even lift 2 blankets right now. But springtime, I would um usually start my whole uh workout, to get ready for the summer. Y'all are gaining 3 pounds in 2 days. 3 pounds of muscle, definitely. RXL, what you say? I found Bora Bora at Ross. Can't believe it was 12. Yeah, it's about $12 to $15 is what I would pay for Bora Bora. That's about it. At most, absolute 20. But I bought a sample when Neil spoke about it. I love it. I'm assuming you're talking about oud. Yes, it is a really good fragrance. Shouts out to H2Ono. What's up, Bobby? Great to see you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Check out his channel, H2Ono. Oh snap! Gonna go get Bora Bora too in this called Stefan. Uh-oh. Hey, shouts out to Kiwi though, you know. Big rips to the beach body, died in 2016. Oh no, Melissa. That's not true. Don't say it ain't so. Bobby O, yes. ADP Oud, really good fragrance. So the House of Aqua de Palma, what happened to them? I know this next one doesn't have a label, but listen, I've actually gone through almost like 60 mLs of this. And when you get the explanation of it, you're going to understand why I just get the decant. This is Rose 31 from Labo. I mean, the only thing that's really different from this and the Labo legitimately is just a label saying this bottle is owned by Joe and it was made on this date. Listen, this 30 ml decant cost me like $50, okay? And I've gotten 60 mLs, so basically $100. That's much cheaper than spending what the cost is for La Labo, which is sub 200 ish, 180. I'm good. Rose 31 is a really good fragrance. It's one of the few that I highly recommend from Le Labo. Bergamot 22 is another one that people used to talk about back in the day. Nobody talks about Le Labo anymore, and I get it. Some of their fragrances are boring, and the City Collection is really the only thing worth it, but they're all overpriced. I understand. But there's still people who have Le Labo. Hotels sell Le Labo, or not sell Le Labo, but they keep the Le Labo fragrances in their collection. Did ADP Oud get reformulated? I don't. This is first of all, this bottle um that actually looks kind of smaller in my hands. You know, shouts out to Jonathan for having, you know, really big hands and making the bottles seem smaller. But this is a 6-ounce bottle. Um, so yeah, I haven't needed to ever try any other formulation of this because this is still about halfway full. And this is from the original 2013 release. Costco had Rose 31 recently. That's interesting. That is very interesting. ADP leather, really nice. The oud, I sampled it almost the same. Yeah, and they have another one called Sandolo or Sandalo that was really good. And there was another one that was almost like ambergris vibe. It's like I forgot what it was. Yeah, Melissa, I like Rose 31 too. It's one of my all-time favorite rose fragrances, really good. Cafe Rose, Tower, Un Rose de Kandahar, Zahar Rose, all very good stuff. Need to check out Costco. Yeah, I need to get a membership now. La Labo sample box wasn't impressed. And that's what I'm saying. Like, but if you get like a nice size decant of it for like $50, it's gonna be basically like the same presentation. Um, Rose 31, like I said, Bergamot 22, really good. I know Vanille 44. Some people do enjoy Santal 33, of course. Also, shouts out to Eugene. Great to see you. Yikes, though. uh, you know, but I think that's the one too that like everyone in New York wears. Like everyone just wears Santal 33. I can't remember. Colonia Mira. Yes, is fire. Gotta agree. Uh was able to pick up some Creed from Costco. Yes, last year was definitely a good time to get some of those fragrances. I have a bottle of ADP Colonia Intensa, Oud Colonia, whatever it's called. That coriander, yeah, is definitely And shouts out to Stefan Fragrance. He's on the road to 1,000. Let's get him to 1,000. If you haven't already subbed, check out Stefan Fragrance. We've done some mukbang videos. You know, the man could sing, the man could eat, the man knows his fragrances, and he likes Bora Bora. So, that's one reason why I appreciate him. Un Rose de Kandahar, one of my very favorite. Yes, Tara and I really agree. Issue is they're so expensive for what you get. Yeah, and I understand why some people might not talk about them as much anymore, but it's still, yeah. And then another house, Atelier. So this is like the niche darlings of once upon a time. A lot of people talked about Orange Sanguine, Orange Sanguine, Orange Sanguine. Everybody loved Orange Sanguine, but that was it. It's like the house did come out with many other fragrances. Veteran Fatale, I personally really enjoyed. Cedra Atlas was a really good fragrance. I spent a lot of time in the Bahamas. That's why that one's missing from here, because I actually used that whole sample that entire weekend. But, they've come out with some good ones. Vanilla Intense or Incense, which is like a vanilla incense type of fragrance. Cedra Everett, which this for a like citrusy clean fragrance, and I don't really have that much left actually, but that one's probably about to be gone. But a lot of these are good. Rose, they had a rose one that was Rose Amignon or something along those lines. That was really good. A lot of these fragrances are just good. Way too strong, says Eugene. Uh Terra Atelier is pulled out of the US. Okay. So that would explain a little bit now. But I didn't that just happen? I believe. Like people haven't been talking about Atelier for many years. But that would make sense as to why in 2022 they wouldn't be. I get it now. Costco, great for Creed, not so great this past year. Jim, sheer election way down. Sublime Vanille, Pure White Cologne. Sheesh, that's crazy. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that was just happened. Which okay, now going forward, I understand a little bit more, but still, like I was in Bloomingdale's last year in New York City, and they had the whole atelier there, and the person was trying to tell me about Jeremy Fragrance, how he came and like he said Jeremy bought like 15 bottles. I wasn't sure if that was just a ploy to like be like, hey, one of your peers got it, so you should, buy from me. But whatever the case may be, it's unfortunate that they're gone now. Vanilla incense, yes, it is. I could see that. I have like smelled it a few times. Definitely a nice, cozy, comforting fragrance, but not too heavy. Forgotten fragrance. Antidote. Victor and Rolf. Absolutely. Victor and Rolf. Antidote. Um, Don't get me started on antidote. I'm not gonna do that. But I don't have that bottle here. But that is definitely one that is worth it. Lord Charfield, great to see you. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Unique to say the least. And nobody talks about ADP, El Baño, but I like it. I only have 3 from that line. Oud Leather. Hey, shouts out to Fernando for that. I think the company that bought Creed, BlackRock, put a halt to Costco picking up Creed on the discount. Probably. That would make sense. Something like that happens. I like the Clementine. That's another one. Clementine, California. Silver something. Smell like a oud root beer. Used to have, yeah, they used to have a lot of them in Sephora. That's where I actually got this from. And so that's why I'm saying, like, I still appreciated Atelier, 2, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 2018. But it's like, why don't many people discuss them anymore? You have the fragrances there. So what I'm gonna do now, as I'm getting into my last one, I'm gonna leave that there. I appreciate everyone that's been in the chat so far. And so for this last one, it's first of all, rest in peace. And I think by me saying that, it's giving away who exactly we are talking about. Tara likes Pamela Paradise, Bohemian Lime, and Orange Sanguine. Catherine mentions that Atelier just happened. Their mistake was featuring almost solely in Sephora when, yes, shame because you really could not go wrong with the brand. You can't go wrong with the brand. ADP, I love Oud, leather, the brown bottle. Yeah, the brown bottles as a whole from ADP are solid. They become uh, they've become obsolete in my collection. That's unfortunate, Catherine, Tara. So yeah, with this final one, I'm ah Terry Mugler. You know, I mean, everyone still talks about pure malt or pure Havana if you have it, but they came out with pure Tonka, they came out with pure coffee, they came out with the original Angel Man, they came out with um good fragrances, Mugler cologne, and those do stand the test of time. But I guess this question is, why is it only Mugler cologne and their pure series that Terry Mugler, it's almost like a one-hit wonder of sorts, and I mean this in the most respectful way. I really do. I'm not trying to be critical. I'm trying to be critical here, not be trolling. It's like, what happened? Yes, like I said, that's why I started everything. Rest in peace, Terry Mugler, first and foremost. What happened over the years? They did Alien Man. Mm. And then they did that sequel spin-off one to, now I've heard that the women's version of it that looked like all rainbow iridescent, I forgot what exactly, fusion, Alien Man Fusion was a dud, but Alien Woman Fusion was actually pretty nice. Did Mugler stop? Amen flankers, I loved them but got sick of them after a while. Yeah, I think the last one was Ultimate Amen. Like, it almost sounded like an arcade fighting game. The Ultimate Amen Experience or something along those lines. I forgot. It came in like, it almost looked like Crypto Mint bottle, that turquoise teal, which I heard wasn't really that bad of a fragrance if you could get it for cheaper. But um it's one of those that just, what, why couldn't they come out with anything else? And yes, Mugler over the Musk, isn't that one of their privés? Tara, let me know. But I've heard like a few of them be okay, but they weren't like really featured. And many people don't talk about the privés as much. I mean, I know you have, absolutely, and I appreciate you for doing that. But the stuff before L'Oreal took over was better as a whole. That's another thing, is the whole reformulation with the buyouts and the switchovers and drown drawn by sense. Great to see you. I don't know why my eyes just like went real fuzzy for a second, but hey, I appreciate you for stopping by. Hello from the UK. Hello, Drawn. Thank you. Hope you're good. Hope you're well. I have Amen Ultimate Coffee Scent. Yes. We have a guest.
Oh,
Hey, how are you?
oh, I'm doing wonderful. Yeah, hey, appreciate your insight on fragrance.
No problem. I mean, of course, I appreciate you too, Jim. Anytime, we always have a lot of good time here, and it's good. Like I said, getting to know. I've almost really kind of started to push these out just so this way it works with you a little bit easier too, so this way you could catch up and interact a little bit more. But
Well, it's funny because every time I get a chance to jump on, it's like I've always have the range to go to, So
hmm,
so I get
got
about
you.
five minutes or so, then I got to head to the range. So I always enjoy that.
Hey, listen, you always make it count either way. I have another guest now. Lewis, great to see you.
Yo, what's
This
up?
is I'm Lewis Fragrances for those who didn't know. Also, he is not Dan, just in case you might get confused. But so yeah, I guess I just wanted to get y'all quick, especially I'll do Jim first because I know he's only got but so much time. Um, what are some like houses that you, especially you, Jim, that you've kind of seen like go to the wayside that I haven't maybe mentioned yet, or that
Well, the two you mentioned, I brought up Serge Lutens, and it's like, man, it's like I was really big into them, and then it's like everything. There was like four or five I really loved, and then it's like the other stuff. It was just kind of was okay, and so I kind of slept on them. And same thing with Paris Monte Carlo, and
Mhm.
and I've been watching the last 3 or 4 years. They've been coming out with some great releases, and I said, well, okay, I got to take a look at them again. Take a look at them again. So I'm putting them down on a calendar to revisit both those houses. And not so much slept on, other than I've kind of fallen asleep on them, but I'm really looking forward to exploring those. In fact, not long ago, I picked up something from Uncle Serge. It was an
Mm,
incense fragrance. I wish I remembered the name, and I hate botching, names.
right.
So yeah, but that's it for me. I'm really looking forward to that. That new Hermes one. What's that? H24. It's
Yeah.
either got good reviews or bad. I still haven't put my nose on it, and that's the other one I'm hoping to put my nose on soon.
It's not a bad fragrance, it's just for the hype. It's almost like I'm gonna make you the best meal of your life. And
Yeah,
I get you all gassed up and then I just hand you like a grilled cheese and you're like, that's it? Like I mean, thank you,
yeah.
but like you've been talking about this being like the great new innovative fragrance and everything, and then you just hand me like
It's all about low expectations. I learned that
right,
long ago. It's like, man, it's like you listen to the hype, and then you try it, and then it's like, oh, this isn't that good. And then if you put it down for a while and revisit it, it's like it's like maybe not so bad, but it's like you build up your expectations so high. So
right.
so I always keep very low expectations, and hopefully you're pleasantly surprised.
Right, exactly. And Lewis has recently tried one of the other ones that I would have covered if I had the bottle. Remember Michael Kors for Men? Lewis has recently tried it and owns it now. And the orange juice in particular, Michael Kors Pour Homme for Men, and he's really, really enjoyed that.
That
And
was
he's
That
yeah,
was
go
the
ahead.
original one, right? Not the Michael for Men, whatever the re-release was, right?
Right. It looked almost like Express Reserve. Like it looked like the Express Reserve, the old school Express Reserve bottle that Cody used to always with the dark orange juice and the marble square bottle type of thing going on. That was that was a that was also once upon a time a staple. But Lewis, how are you doing? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm here. Glad you're here. I appreciate
Hmm.
it. I'm just kind of taking a minute to go back in a time machine of sorts
Yeah,
and
man.
just like reminisce about the good days, sort of, and
Yeah.
just the time, like the fragrances that don't really get that much attention, whether it's the house
Mm.
or it's whatever it
Yeah.
may be.
Yeah. To be honest, it's kind of odd because a lot of what you're saying is based
Hmm.
upon your experience of the FRAGCOMM sort of back in the day, I guess. But
Right.
you're almost echoing the thoughts that I've been having. I mean, I wasn't even there. I've only been watching fragrance videos since 2017. But just been very unimpressed by modern releases. And I think back in the day, from what I can see, it was just regular guys who were sharing their favorite fragrances with other enthusiasts. Whereas nowadays, it's a lot of it is what people review, what they're getting sent, or
Hmm.
they're reviewing new fragrances based on the algorithm. I almost feel like back in the day there was no algorithm because people were just reviewing what they were passionate about rather
Right.
than what was going to get them views. The old Fragcom wasn't a business; it was just people with a passion sharing
Right.
with their friends what they enjoy. And I wasn't even there, but I can see that from the outside looking in. I mean, I watch a lot of older videos. I think the reason a lot of the great fragrances that you guys were wearing back in the day are not being covered, and you're confused by it, saying these are great, and they are great, but they just don't fit the current business model of what people are going for. And it's very unfortunate. I mean, I guess I'm breaking the mold a little bit. I am revisiting and enjoying fragrances that were recommended in that time.
Right.
But yeah, I just think if we could, I think with the smaller reviewers, we are going back to the, yo, check out this fragrance that I smelt in store and I really enjoyed, which is
Right.
completely different to this is what's going to get me views.
Yeah, and I mean, you did do that vlog in Javoy, which when I saw that, I was like, wow, I haven't even heard of Javoy, which honestly kind of sort of planted the seed of sorts for this video. So thank you,
Oh, awesome.
because it was like, wait, no one's talking about Javoy. What the hell happened to Javoy? And then it like went into like I had all these fragrances, and I'm starting to like maybe declutter some of them, and I was like, well, wait a minute. Like nobody talks about this and nobody talks about that and nobody talks, and it's like,
Yeah, I
why?
get you.
Like these fragrances are still here. Like some of them, I get it, they're gone or they're discontinued, but as a whole, for the most part, like the house is still here, if not the fragrance, and most of the fragrances are still here. Like I know they reformulated Michael for Men that Jim was just holding up, but it's like, you know, still a lot of people have that bottle, and it's like, why not talk about even include it in just your favorite winter fragrances for the year, or your favorite, they're coming up with lists: best hoodie fragrances, best fragrances to wear a black t-shirt in the summertime with 90-degree weather and flip-flops. They're coming out with all these lists. Why not come out with a list then to just feature that fragrance? Because yes, we are in the age of content creation. Create a video just reminding people of just, hey, what this was, because it's there, it's on your shelf. It's not you, Jim, but it's on your shelf, it's there. So it's like, just do it. But that was great to see you there with that bottle just now, Jim.
Hey, here's another one. Blast
Yes,
from the
Lidge. Very
It
much
was
so.
Oh my gosh, that was so hyped back in the day. I like it. I never was fanatical about it, but I do like it and do enjoy it. But man, there was such hype about it. Now you don't. It's like people just forget about scents, and then it's like you come back like every 5 years or so, and it's like the community rediscovers something again. That's always fun.
Right. And I mean, that's the thing though. Some of these that's the problem now with all these fragrances being discontinued, and now everyone wants to just buy them and hoard them so they could flip them. But it's like they got discontinued because nobody was talking about them, or only one or two people were talking about them. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is such a great fragrance. Why didn't I ever cover it? And it's like, you had it on your shelf for 5 years. What do you mean? Why didn't I cover it? Why didn't you
Absolutely.
cover it? I have not seen it. When Dan started, he categorized his channel comedy. I think it was, well, not sure where that went. But Steph's, I try to show off my collection as a whole. I did do a collection video around like the middle of the year last year, or end of the year. So there is a live video with my entire collection as a whole, at least the one that was with whatever the movers were gracious enough to give me my own stuff back with. But yeah, I mean, Lidge, wow, that was another one. Exactly, Joe. Just with a couple of samples, you could review several perfumes. There's a lot of content and that, yeah, I mean, shouts out to Brad BP Wool. I know that's a favorite of yours, Jim, because he kind of introduced you to people like me and Joey. But Brad reviews samples, and that's fine to review samples. Definitely review the samples. But Brad covers all samples. He covers, so he's not necessarily in this kind of conversation, anyways, because he covers us samples for Bath and Body Works. Like he definitely works hard and does his thing.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the oud. right?
Mm-hmm.
It's I think we picked up a bottle, the 6.8, back in 2013, and no
Yeah.
one, it was talked about a little bit, but not many people really, got on a hype train. But I thought it was absolutely fantastic. But surprisingly, it's the one oud I really enjoy wearing in the warmer months, like
Yes.
in a summer evening, etc. And there's just something I really just love about it. So I
Yeah.
don't, yeah, and I don't know if they still make it, but I'm glad I have this bottle.
They do still make it. I think it might have been reformulated or repackaged though. And Ron asking, does anybody still do blind buys? I do. I just am tactical with my. I'm not just blind buying because it was released. I did that with like 1899 from Histoire des Parfums. I did that with this. The oud. You know, Now I'm a little bit more tactical with my releases, and I also need to be, since I am doing this for views but also for my own pleasure. I want to like kind of almost make sure that like, okay, can this like maybe garner a little bit of attention? If it can't, and then if, unless it's one that I know like it's just released from, like if I've tried many others from the line, then I'll go with that. But if it's, I usually try to find the obscure anyways. Lidge, Midnight in Paris, and many more outstanding perfumes in the past folks talk about and compare with none of the with the current hype ones. Right. And that's the other thing. So many people are like, oh, get this clone of, this, but like you've never smelled this. Or, man, people say this smells like there's no like point of reference, or if there is a point of reference, then why not talk about it yourself? Bring awareness to your channel, I guess, is the moral of this video that I am trying to say right now. Um, I do my research thorough. Yes. Shouts out to Lord Charfield. Shouts out to everyone in the chat. Lewis, do you have like any fragrances that maybe you kind of any houses that you maybe noticed already so far that should be talked about, but people don't really talk about? I know you mentioned Jovoy once, but
Mm.
anything like in that realm?
For me, it's like individual fragrances. Like I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I smell a fragrance in my collection,
Hmm.
I'll be like, how have I not been smelling this? But it takes smelling it to actually remember that. Like I have this thing where I have an image of what a fragrance is in my head, but until I actually smell it, I forget the impact it has. So I
Hmm.
was kind of thinking, like, maybe every now and then we should go into our collection,
Right.
maybe take out the things that are in the back of the shelf or whatever, and maybe just sniff the atomizer and just like remind ourselves. And sometimes you'll do that and be like, oh, I should definitely wear this tomorrow.
Right.
Or sometimes there's like revisiting staples. Like
Hmm.
maybe you can be so focused on finding the next best thing that you don't wear green Irish tweed, but then you wear green Irish tweed and you remember how amazing it is, but you've put it off in your mind as just a staple that's not interesting or whatever. Well, it's definitely more interesting when you revisit it after putting it off for so long. Does that
Right.
make sense?
No, that makes sense. I get it. And I
Mm,
mean, that kind of helps too, I guess, in the way, like you said, of maybe even filtering out of sorts, like if you smell it a few times and you become aware of it, then it's like, oh, okay, this is something that I will want more, or then let it
mm.
go, but that you still send it to like a good home. So this way somebody wears it and actually appreciates it instead of it just kind of, I mean, it's almost like I feel like I'm talking about Toy Story here. Like, oh, make sure that you send Buzz and Woody off to a good home. So this way people just still play with them instead of, hiding them in a corner or something. But it's like, I don't know. I see so many YouTube reviewers and so many doing the same thing after thing. And that's fine. Do what you want, do what you feel comfortable doing. But for the YouTube reviewers that have, I know YouTube reviewers, I know content creators, not even just YouTube reviewers, bloggers, everyone that have these fragrances that don't talk about them anymore, that don't feature them. It's almost like this isn't a product code that is good for for the spring of 2022, and then come the summertime, it's out of season, and you want to like get a new product coat. This is a fragrance that, if stored properly, can last you 40, 50, 60 years,
Yeah, I
if
get
not
you.
longer. So it's like you have it. And again, if you're creating all these lists and videos and you're doing all these different things, why not include the other fragrances? Like, it doesn't always have to just be the newest ones or the best ones. You could have your list of,
Yeah,
best of 2022, best of 2021, best of the 20s
yeah.
for that.
You know,
Shouts out.
Sebastian, the
Yeah,
perfume guy.
yes, I'm very. Him and I started around the same time.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. What I've noticed about him is every now and then he'll do like his top 20 or top 25 favorite fragrances. And
Hmm.
what I've noticed is the list hardly changes. And what I've noticed about him is he's not scared to talk about the same thing again more than once. And it's like, yeah, he's not banging on about it too much, but it's almost like he's saying, yeah, I'm talking about this again because it's great. I think talking about something more than once isn't always a bad thing. It's
Right.
almost a way of saying how good it is. Like you said,
Right.
it's always going to be good. It's always going to do a job.
Right. Exactly. And that's, I don't know. I just I just kind of feel like I wish that things would be different. I just want things to be the way they were. No, I don't want them to be the way they were, but I do want them to, just cover some of these fragrances, bring awareness. You're making videos of like, is 1 million current still in 2022? And then be like, no, but you could wear 1 million lucky or this flanker or that flanker. It's like, it's damn near still the same fragrance, so just go
I
ahead
think
and
we're definitely relying on the smaller reviewers to do that. I think if we're to encourage each other to
right,
talk about something other than the new releases, because I think
right,
a lot of the smaller reviewers, they are smaller because they're not trying to do play the algorithm game, which is not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but
right.
you know I personally see reviewers who are reviewing stuff just because they love it, and I think if we start maybe thinking about things we used to love, then we can make some great content.
Mm, valid points. Valid points.
Yeah.
I think on that note, we could go ahead and wrap this up, just because you said it best with that one. Honestly, like,
Oh,
you know,
cheers, man.
cheers to that. Because damn, that, I don't know if I could top that even. Like, sheesh. But thank you to everyone. Also, I did see House of Colossus come in here. Hey, great to see you, bro. I appreciate you. Check out his channel, House of Colossus. Great YouTube reviewer. The man has energy. The man had. I saw one of his videos recently. He covered Histoires des Parfums. Shout out to Saw Nines that, doing his thing. That's why I always talk about Bora Bora. Exactly. Small reviewers make videos for the sheer enjoyment and their passion. I agree, Lord Charfield. I mean, a small reviewer can become a big reviewer talking about it, still doing the same, but a lot of them just don't know, where in order to know where you're going, you have to have known where you have been. And I guess that's where uh I would have to say au revoir, Master Joe. Oh, thank you, Drawn by Sense. I just appreciate you all for spending a little bit of time with me. I appreciate Lewis for stopping in. I appreciate Jim
Hey,
for stopping by. And yes, stay tuned because I am, like I said, I am Joey Cannoli. Mutant Night is tonight. That's always a fun time. And we will see where the rest of the week takes us. But in the meantime, I'm going to go cook and I will see you all later. Let me know in the comments down below what fragrances that you kind of feel have been forgotten, or what fragrance houses you kind of feel have been left forgotten since the turn of the influencer era. Thank you all for watching. My name's Joe. I'll see you all later.